Today on The French Chef, we're going to be making the ultimate one-pot dinner, coq au vin. Just kidding. I've always wanted to say that. Hey guys, it's Shawn from She's in Her Element, and we actually are going to spend our Sunday with Julia making our coq au vin. Coq au vin is a very easy, like a chicken stew that we're going to make. It's not difficult at all. You do need a few extra ingredients. You need some alcohol to go in there, some wine and some whiskey. I actually had to go buy whiskey because we don't keep that in the house. So just bought a small one, big enough just to do these. And I'm really excited to put this dish together. Again, it's another easy peasy French recipe that takes an ordinary dish and elevates it to something spectacular. So let's get going, shall we? First things first, the best way to make this dish, because it's going to go into the oven, is in a cast iron Dutch oven. If you don't have one, it really is an essential tool as far as I'm concerned to have in your kitchen. It's so versatile. You can use it for so many things. So we're going to use our Dutch oven. And right now I'm just going to dice up some pancetta and we're going to get that going in here. So we just got a little oil in our cast iron pan, and now we are going to add the pancetta. And we're just going to let this go for about 8 to 10 minutes until it's all nice and crispy. That's what you're looking for, is a nice crispy pancetta. And your house is going to smell amazing right off the bat. And while my pancetta is actually crisping up, I'm going to move a little bit ahead, and I'm going to take 2 carrots and an onion. I'm going to peel the carrots and peel the onion, save my scraps, put them in my freezer stock bag. Great for making homemade stock. And I'm going to cut them into medium-sized chunks so that they're ready to go when I'm ready for them. Anything that you can do to keep ahead of the game when you're cooking is the best way to go. And having everything prepared and ready to go in step by step by step makes all the difference in the world. I even have pulled out some of my own chicken stock. It's all I like to use because you cannot get the flavor from a can that you will get from your own homemade gelatinous, delicious stock. So I'm heating that up as we need some for the recipe as well. So I'm going to let this go for a little bit to crisp it up, and I'm going to get going. And I'm going to get going on those carrots and the onion. And now that our pancetta is nice and crispy, I'm just going to use a slotted spoon and remove it from the pan, just setting it on a paper towel in a dish. Let that drain a little bit. Perfect. Smells divine. Now for the chicken, this recipe calls for chicken thighs, and you can use bone-in, skin-on thighs if you want, but you can also use boneless, skinless chicken thighs. And that's the route that I'm going to go. So I'm just gonna salt and pepper my chicken real good. Literally gonna turn it over. Get the other side as well. Different hand, clean hand, not contaminating. Yeah. Now I'm gonna go wash my hands. Now that they are all salt and peppered, what I'm going to do is I am going to put them in the exact same Dutch oven with all of that yummy pancetta grease in there and flavor, and we're just gonna brown them up a little bit. We don't want to overcrowd them. If you overcrowd any type of a meat in the pan, instead of browning, what they will do is actually start sweating and creating more moisture because there's so much in the pan. So it's always best to do it in batches. So when they are done to your liking for brownness, just remove them to the same dish you put the pancetta in. The chicken is done, so now we're going to add our carrots and our onions in there. I'm going to add a little bit of salt and pepper as well. And we're going to let this cook over medium heat for about 10 minutes. Don't worry about all the pieces stuck to the bottom of the pan between the chicken and the pancetta. It's going to make amazing flavor, and we will get to that. So right now we just want to let the carrots and the onions go just for about 10 minutes. Alright, our carrots and our onions have been in there for about 10 minutes. Some of the onions will get a little more brown than I would like, but that's totally fine. And now we're just going to add our whiskey and deglaze the pan. You want to scrape up all of those delicious bits from the bottom, because that is all flavor that you absolutely want. Just use your spoon, put it on the pan, and incorporate those bits. Oh yeah. You can tell when you've gotten them all off the bottom. You won't be able to feel them there anymore. So now we're good. Now we're going to put our chicken back in the pan. Chicken. Also get that pancetta in there. All amazing flavor. Go. And now we're going to add our wine. Our chicken stock. A few sprigs of thyme. We're going to bring this to a boil. Once the boiling starts, we are actually going to put the lid on this. It's going to go in our preheated 250-degree oven, and we're going to leave it there for about 55 minutes. That smells so good. All right, our dish has started to boil, which is what we were looking for it to do. It's gonna stir the liquid a little bit, make sure everything's incorporated nicely. And now we're going to put our lid on it. We're going to shut the heat off, and we're going to get this in the oven. This is just, that's literally it. There's like 2 more steps after that's done in the oven. Simple, simple. How easy is that? I'm just gonna clean up my little mess right here, which isn't too bad right now. So, do you guys have the Magnolia Network where you are? I'm kind of assuming everybody has that. I believe it used to be the DIY network. I'm not sure. Chip and Joanna bought it. And I just adore that every morning at 7 a.m. you can start watching The French Chef. Like, I'm in my glory. They're the old black and white ones that I remember from back in the day at my papa's, sitting on the couch, watching it all. Like, oh, I am just the happiest ever with my coffee, sitting in my recliner, waking up in the morning. And I got to enjoy all of them today. And it was really cool because she made a bouffe bourguignon. And it looked just as good as mine did. But I really do admire this woman. I know I've said it before, but I really do. She didn't come into her own with cooking until her 40s. She pioneered the way on television for cooking shows. She did it with little to no sponsorship at first. They did not want to tie themselves down to any one type of product. She wanted to let you know what she liked, the products. And she pioneered the way. They gave her such a hard time at first when she wanted to start this cooking show. And she did it with a minimal set. In fact, I don't even believe there was a real working gas line or anything that went into it. I think it was just an electric stove that they plugged in to use. And look at her empire now. Look at people like me who just love her recipes and want to emulate the same food that she made. If it wasn't for her, we wouldn't know what French cooking was. Have you guys seen that movie, Julia and Julie? Or is it Julie and Julia? I think it's Julia and Julie. Anyways, that is one of my all-time favorite movies because I really love the story of Julia Child. And I love that this girl taught herself to cook by cooking her way through mastering the art of French cooking. My stove is disgusting from that. There's grease everywhere, so I want to give it a quick clean. But I found this stuff called 9 Ingredients, and I'm giving it a try because I like products that I can use around the children and the babies to clean their high chairs and their tables, and it's not anything that has a chemical that they could ingest somehow. So this is a vinegar-based cleaner that I'm really excited to try. I have been using it. I think it works fabulous, but that's just me. It's a plant-based cleaner that also uses like some lemon essential oil, and it's just really good to use around kids. And even without kids, I don't want to use harsh chemicals around my food that even I could ingest. So, another product I adore, Scrub Mommy. I like Scrub Daddy too, but I like them because they don't scratch the surface, and yet they really get all of that gook off. And that's important. It's been 55 minutes. I've taken it out. Are you ready? I'm ready. Oh, that smells divine. Want to see? How delicious does that look? Now I'm going to remove these sprigs of thyme because we do not want to eat that. And now it's just time to do the very last step, which is to thicken this sauce and add some mushrooms. Let's finish this dish up, shall we? Have a tablespoon of butter. I'm just going to put this in the microwave and melt it up, and then we're going to mix this with 1.5 tablespoons of flour. Got my flour in there. I'm just going to mix this up. It's just going to be like a little paste ball. So that's the consistency we're going for. Paste ball. And now we're just going to stir that into the sauce. It's a little bit in here, just want to get it all out. There we go. Yeah, that's all incorporated nicely. And now we're going to add our mushrooms to the pot, and I am using Baby Bella mushrooms. That's Scott's favorite. Let's give those a little stir in there. Now, you know the rules. Gotta try it. Make sure the seasoning's right, so if not, we can adjust it. I think it needs a little more salt. So, let's get a little more salt in there. And I think it needs a little more pepper. I forgot to add the garlic, but that's okay. I'm going to add garlic juice. Nobody will ever know. Shh, don't tell them. Now I'm just going to stir this up again. Take one more taste. That's better. The right amount of salt makes all the difference in a dish. So, now I'm not going to put the lid back on this, but what I am going to do is I'm going to keep the lid off, and I'm going to put this back in the oven for about another 15 minutes because I want that broth to thicken up more like a stew. It's done. Let's pull this out. Now, thickened up a little, not a whole lot. There's a difference. And because this vessel is just so hot, we're actually gonna transfer this into a gorgeous serving dish and get this ready. Now I'm just going to sprinkle some fresh parsley on here. And it's ready. How delicious does that look? And if only you guys could smell what my kitchen smells like from this dish. It's amazing. Look at this delicious, amazing meal. Oh, so good. Seriously, how easy was this? This was zero effort. It takes more effort for me to make a homemade chicken soup on the stove than this dish took for me to create. And of course, I have to sample it, so. Now your chicken's going to be a little pink in color, and that is because of the wine, so don't be alarmed by the outside. The inside is just delicious. Well, that is good. That is so tender, so juicy, not dry whatsoever. The wine and the whiskey give this a flavor that is amazing. And you can't even taste anything like a whiskey. The alcohol burns off and it just leaves this delicious, delicious flavor. Oh. And the carrots, not soggy. They have a tiny bit of firmness to them. Not in the it's not cooked way, but in the it's cooked perfectly way. So, oh, this is so good. Scott's going to love this. Wow. French cooking doesn't have to be difficult at all. We've seen that today making this. This is so flavorful. And what I find with French cooking is it takes a dish that we would normally make as Americans, but it really does elevate it into such a sophisticated platform of flavors that there's nothing like it out there. Oh. I wish you guys could try this. I really do. But I know how you can try it. You need to make this for yourself. This would be like a great Sunday dinner. And this is something you actually could put in the oven before church. It does take an hour. If it goes a little over that hour, I don't think it's going to hurt it at all. I actually remember my puppies. My grandma would do that. She would leave dinner in the oven on a low temperature, and by the time we would come home from church, it would just be ready. The house would smell amazing. There was no effort anymore. It was really nice to just come in and be able to sit down and have this delicious Sunday dinner with my amazing grandparents, and I really miss those days. I really miss those days. But I can kind of recreate it in my own house and share it with my family that I have. So I want to thank you guys again for joining me as we embarked on yet another Sunday with Julia. Today in the spotlight was coq au vin, a chicken stew elevated to a platform you can't even imagine would exist. I hope you really do give this a try. You'll definitely like it. So thanks for stopping by. If you're new to my channel, I try to make 2 to 3 videos every single week. You never know what they're going to be about, so you probably want to hit that bell and subscribe so that way you won't miss anything. If you like what you saw today, please give me a thumbs up, or better yet, a share, so others can find my channel and also enjoy delicious recipes such as this one. As always, thank you for stopping by my house, and bon appetit.